Hey, yeah, hey, it's the boat crew, and we always winning. Ay, go against us, I don't recommend it. Ay, it's the boat crew, best up in the business. It's the boat crew, reppin' for the city. Mackin' on and off the field like Khalil. They hate on us cause we keep it too real. I'm talking smack like Phil Rivers in the field. Oh, you mad again cause we kept it real? Why you mad? Ay, I'm talking smack, I feel like Uncle Dave. Ay, I bring the pain, I feel like Derwin James. I could run and gun, I feel like Herbo down the lane. I feel like LT the way I'm stiff arming these lanes. We just wanna win, we just wanna win, yeah. Ay, we just wanna win, we just wanna win, ay. Putting on for the city, putting on for the city. We just wanna win, we just wanna win, yeah.
There Dude, look at that. Look at that, man. The music's back. Absolutely
music's
love it.
Back.
Right,
we're back. The Pope's back. God damn, we're still number one, baby. USA.
You dropped the Pope and GD within the same half second.
And praise
your mom's
me.
probably, your mom's probably gonna be on you for that one. Probably gonna be back.
Yeah, joke's on you. Sins are forgiven, Dave.
Joke's on me. I'm not complaining. Not complaining. What are you gonna do? Again, how you doing? Again on a Thursday. Appreciate everybody joining us live. I'm Dave Palais. That's Mario Heron. Josh Palais, who's normally part of the show, is on his honeymoon. Has about a week to go, and he will be back with us, of course, for the next Charger shows. I think he's back on Tuesday. Am I right on that? I'm asking you. I should probably know.
I was about to say.
Yeah, he told us. I don't think either one of us are good listeners. I don't think either one of us heard it.
I'm going to be completely honest with you. I have no idea when he's back. I was just going to send him I was literally just going to keep sending him the link and just like whenever he comes back, he comes back. You know?
Yeah, I don't know. Either way, he's in Italy right now, I believe, for another week, and then we're back, of course. But look, we're talking football, talking Charger football, a couple different things we want to get to today. We will get to comments as well. It's always fun listening to hear what you guys have to say. It would be nice if we had a little bit less violence in the comments today. Boy, it got a little crazy on Tuesday. I was here for it. I enjoy every single minute of it because I'm sick that way. But it got hot. It did get hot in that room for sure pretty fast. Let's start off with NFL news first, Mario, because this is the biggest news going right now. And I don't know if you could say it came out of nowhere because I think a lot of people thought it was going to happen 2-3 months ago, definitely before the draft. But it didn't happen before the draft. And that was Pickens getting traded from the Steelers to the Dallas Cowboys. So the Cowboys pick up that wide receiver when so many people are like, what do you mean you didn't draft Matthew Golden out of Texas? What are you going to do? You have CeeDee Lamb by himself. Well, the Cowboys obviously had an idea they were going to get this deal done. They ended up getting a top wide receiver to put on the other side of CeeDee Lamb. At the same time, are you surprised on either end, either that Dallas was able to pull this deal off or that Pittsburgh was willing to throw him away? And I say throw him away because he obviously wore it as welcome in Pittsburgh.
I was a little surprised because it felt like when they got DK Metcalf, they did this whole like social media spree and this such hype up of look at our receiving core now, look how great it is. And then just to trade him away, a month and a half later, it's like, all right, well, good thing you guys wasted all that content. Pickens too, I think for the Cowboys side, there's some numbers that we can get into why it makes sense. But the part that just gets me a little bit is why wouldn't you draft a receiver that's under contract right away for multiple years instead of trading for a guy that's going to come here on a 1-year deal and then renegotiate contract or just leave you? How does that make sense?
Well, it makes sense when your owner is 100,
Yeah,
I mean,
true.
Talk about playing it day by day. That's where Jerry Jones is at right now. I mean, Jerry Jones is literally saying, I got to win another Super Bowl. Like, I've been talking about this since 1995. My team has fallen short. I'm the only owner that sits there and does more interviews than my starting quarterback. Yet at the same time, he's getting up in age. Like, no joke, Jerry Jones is now in his mid-80s, and he needs to win now. So whether he's here to negotiate Pickens' next deal or to say we made a mistake, I don't think he cares. And we see this all the time of guys that say, time is short. And for Jerry Jones, literally time is short. And he's like, I got to make a move. I think if you're a Cowboy fan, you're pleased with it because, man, if you're a team that, claims the winning all the time, the Raiders do it. The Raiders haven't done anything in forever. But the Cowboys do it more than any other team. We've spoken about this on the show a bunch of times, and everybody knows the Cowboys are the #1 sports brand in the United States. And there's basically an algorithm to it that there's a reason why the networks like ESPN and Fox, they start every possible show with Dallas Cowboy talk when they can. And the things that always sell, right? Cowboy talk and LeBron James talk. And that's what always hits ratings according to what they're selling. Well, the Cowboys haven't been relevant technically since 1995, before you were born, Mario.
Yep.
And Jerry Jones is sitting there putting his face on things, and his son puts his face on things. They kind of had to make this kind of move. I think if I'm a Cowboy fan, I'm going, all of a sudden, we look like we're probably a playoff team. That's what I'm thinking.
They kind of remind me of Nebraska college football, where everyone growing up told me how good they were in the 90s, but like I look at them now and go, but they haven't been anything today.
Nothing.
I don't remember the times of you feared the star on the helmet. I don't know that.
No.
I saw the star on the helmet going, oh, this is just a segment on First Takedown. I'm going to mute for the next 5 minutes. You know what I mean? That's the kind of the way I saw it. And, you know, you mentioned Jerry. I think he loves that entertainment factor, and love or hate Pickens, he is entertaining. He is going to give you media attention, whether you like that spotlight or not. He brings it. He wears his heart on his sleeve. He's a talented football player, but with him comes a lot of baggage. And, you know, Dave, how many times have we seen a Steelers receiver get moved and underperform?
Every time.
Not
how many times, it's every time.
Yeah. I went right away. As soon as the trade happened, I go, this is going to be another Chase Claypool.
How about Mike Wallace?
Another one. Mike Wallace.
Antonio Brown.
Deontay Johnson.
I mean, everyone. Every single guy.
Le'Veon Bell, not a receiver, but still.
Yeah.
Or does he go to New York? Stinks it up.
Yeah.
And it's just, okay, this is where we're at right now.
No, I don't disagree. You actually said exactly what I was going to say. And you look at guys and go, whoever got that guy, he's going to be a deal. And then it doesn't come out that way, which makes you wonder, because Pittsburgh offensively, I understand Ben Roethlisberger and love him or not. I never was a huge Ben Roethlisberger fan as far as playing the actual quarterback position. Like, he had the I'm the best guy on the field attitude, which you want. And he led his team, you know, to big time wins, but he was never in my category of that guy's top 10 all time. And yet when they left Ben or they left Mike Tomlin, those guys went right the crapper. I mean, they completely fell apart. And I don't know if Pickens is that guy. I mean, I don't know if he's the guy that breaks the mold, but who would have thought Antonio Brown would have completely fallen apart? I mean, anytime you're dealt from the team that drafted you, it should be, well, I'm going to show you. And none of these guys ever showed the Steelers they made a mistake.
Antonio Brown's not on Kill Tony drinking White Russians like hammered. That's where Antonio Brown is right now. And the Buccaneers, he takes his shirt off in the end zone. Like, that thing was just beyond. But the
Burnt
numbers
his
that
feet on the Raiders. Remember when he burned his feet?
Oh yeah, he wouldn't play because of the helmet issue.
Well,
It's
the helmet issue, and then but he froze his feet. Remember, and burnt the skin off. Yeah,
it's just like, okay, how does that happen? Was it your first day, like being rich with, you know, everything to make you healthy? But the number, there is numbers.
First day being rich. That's
no,
funny.
literally though. I was like,
yeah.
Dude, I know you didn't have someone test run that before you got in there. Okay. All right, buddy. You have a fall guy, have a test guy. All right. But the other thing too in this trade that I just like to point out, and Warren Sharp tweeted this, so credit to him. But Dak Prescott last 2 years, #1 most passing yards on 15+ yard go routes. George Pickens, #1 most receiving yards on 15-yard go routes. Second most catches in the same category. Dak has second most attempts in that same category. So there is a mold that he fits. But is it all going to come together in Dallas? History is going to tell you no, and I'm going to tell you no. I don't think this is going to work well at all. And not to mention, is he going to get along with Parsons? How's that going to go?
You know what? I think all that matters is, does he get along with Dak? I mean, that's what it comes in, right? You have a new coach. You have Schottenheimer as your coach. You have Dak. You have CeeDee Lamb. You have Ferguson as a tight end. All of a sudden, it looks like you have weapons. I mean, when you talk about, and we broke this down just a couple days ago, about the Commanders, like, you know, do they take a step back? You know, they had an easy schedule a year ago. Do the Commanders come out as a team that's going to get back to the NFC Championship game, maybe go further? Or are they a team that takes a step back? And you go, well, in your head, Giants, no chance. Cowboys, no chance. Eagles, obviously a chance. Commanders with a chance. Now, all of a sudden, You're going, there are 3 teams in that division where if they made the postseason, nobody would be shocked.
No one would be shocked. And I don't know either. The Schottenheimer hire was already like a random
Weird one.
Yeah, just a weird. It's just not Jerry like, not 90s Jerry like, I should say. Maybe recently, yes, because he, Jason Garrett somehow was there for so long. But I don't know if he's the right guy to handle all the egos in that locker room now. I think you need a little bit more stronger. Vrabel can handle that. Tomlin could handle that.
Yeah.
Can Schottenheimer can he?
I don't know. It's one. His dad could, but you know what?
His dad could.
But here's the deal. When you have a dad like that, that means his dad's the one that controls the house, controls the room. And his son has coached with him. I mean, I've told the story on the show before. When I covered the Chargers and Marty was here and his son was, I think, the quarterback's coach, and everybody wanted to know, are you going to fire your son? Like, he's not doing a good job. And Marty straight out said, I'm never going to fire him. Like, I have dinner with his mom every night. Like, I'm sleeping with his mom every weekend. You understand that I'm not firing that guy. And everyone's just stopped asking. The fact now that he's a head coach and he's gotten multiple jobs in the NFL, fine. But that personality, honestly, I don't believe just comes into you because your dad's not in the room. I think you're used to being that second guy. I'll say this about Dean Spanos. I always felt the same thing. Alex Spanos, even though he wasn't a big guy, he had that big attitude, of it's my way or the highway kind of a deal. And he didn't listen to anybody. And it's tough for Dean to create in his mind what is his personality and that take charge guy. Dean is a nice guy. I've told people this a million times. Dean is a nice guy that doesn't feel like he, wants confrontation. I mean, look how long this LA San Diego thing took place. The stories are that Dean was the only family member that wanted to stay in San Diego. Everyone else was like, let's get the hell out of here and get to LA as fast as we can. But Dean's not that guy. And I don't think Brian's going to be that guy in Dallas. So when you talk about you need a big personality and maybe compete with Jerry, and Jerry probably knows too. I've dealt with the Bill Parcells, the guys that do have those big giant personalities. And, there's only one microphone and it has my face in front of it. And I don't have to worry about Brian Schottenheimer fighting for that microphone and that media attention.
It's kind of funny because you mentioned him and Parcells. The perfect coach for him almost would be Bill Belichick, where like he doesn't like dealing with the media. He just wants to do his job. And like Jerry Jones can kind of handle the media, do his press conference for him. Problem is Bill's going to want to make every decision, and Jerry would never let him do that. But it's just a weird, funny side topic thing. I want to pull up a comment really quick from Gallo just to bring it back more to the Chargers. But he says, who is covering these receivers for the Cowboys from the Chargers? And obviously we have Kim Hart, Dave, who we're all big fans of here on the show. We kind of even called out last year of him going to be a pretty big stud for the Chargers, and he was, and more. But that other cornerback spot, right now it's Dante Jackson will be the left corner. Does that worry you, corner two? Is that kind of like a something that's been on your mind? And can Jalen Ramsey fit that mold, do you think, for us?
Look, I have no fear on this Charger defense. I never thought the Charger problems were the defensive side of things. For me, it was always, are there enough weapons for Justin Herbert? And it's weird because a year ago at this time, we all thought the Charger defense was going to be shaky, right? What do you expect them to do? Right. I mean, that was our biggest fear the last 2 to 3 years until last year. Jesse Minter came in and was absolutely outstanding. I mean, arguably, assistant coach of the year of what he did. And as we said, we're lucky that the Chargers still have him, that some other team hasn't tried to hire him away. That day's coming, people, by the way. Jesse Minter will be a head coach somewhere because he's really good at what he does. Defense, I'm not even concerned about at all, Mario. Like when you look at what the Chargers are trying to do offensively, it's obviously ball control, clock control. And I think the Chargers are going to wait for teams like the Dallas Cowboys who will put the ball in there a lot. Just wait for them to make a mistake. And then the Chargers will sit there and take control of that. There's nothing like controlling a game like having a solid run game. And that's what the Chargers, I think offensively, that's the plan, is to put the ball in there when they have to, but otherwise they're going to stay between the tackles.
You just gave me deja vu from last year. I remember doing a show and we're talking about the defense. And I remember saying it. We were all saying it. Who's covering what receiver in our secondary?
Yeah.
We're asking a lot of our rookies, a lot of guys that are rotational, team by team guys. And Jesse Minter had these guys perform at the best level they've ever performed at. And that's where I kind of agree with you. it doesn't worry me as much because I trust the system that they're in. And Cam Harden, a second year, what can he be?
Yeah.
Is he make another jump? Does he kind of take on a whole nother role as corner? And we saw Henley take this huge jump where he goes from a backup linebacker to an all-pro. Can, Hart do that? I think he can. So that's where I kind of agree with you. I don't know if I have a fear of the corner spot. I have more fear of Trey Harris or Smith, who's going to step up the most in our front line. That's where I kind of think I have my most fear. Can we put the most pressure on the quarterback? And who's going to give, Mac the anti-aging, maybe somewhat illegal? I'm fine with it. Just don't get caught, You got to do what you got to do. 15 sacks a year.
There's so many guys that we talk about now that we didn't talk about a year ago, right? It's really funny how this league works, right? Guys retire out of the league, guys get traded, guys just disappear. And you're talking about the logo. I mean, the logo of your favorite team, and it's new guys on that roster, and you're hoping they get the job done. They did such a good job finding guys that we didn't know about a year ago at this time that we talk about now, and looking forward to their growth and seeing them be better. And in all honesty, I think they'll be better. I see a lot of Bosa talk right now in the chat. Look, one of the comments was Bosa hardly played. Bosa was there actually more than I think most people thought. He just didn't do anything ever. He didn't do anything. I mean, we're not going to miss Bosa. Wait till the people in Buffalo get him, and they're going to, what the hell happened here? We thought Von Miller was a bad contract. Now all of a sudden you're going to look at Bosa and you're going to be shocked to see what you actually got. It's not the same Joey Bosa that you saw in 2017. It's not that guy. So I like what we have. The Khalil Mack thing, all of us are huge fans of Khalil Mack. Like, we want to see him be a Charger forever and see his health obviously stay around. And otherwise, we got to get a new intro song, right? Khalil Mack's right there in the song. But we want Khalil Mack to be a Charger for a long time. So, I mean, I can't wait overall. I do want to get to this because I want to see this run in the chat as we finish the rest of the show, by the way. Mario brought this up. He goes, think of 3 guys on the Chargers that you'd want to play golf with. First of all, neither one of us are big-time golfers, but if you had to hang out with 3 guys, Mario, give me your 3 guys that you picked.
As you said, I can barely hit the damn ball. So literally, as soon as I sent it, I was like, this is coming from me who plays once in 3 months. But my team, I would want to go Henley, Junior Colson, and Omarion Hampton. I think those are the guys I want on my squad. We're going out there. First off, because me and Henley like the same music. He's always posting Gunna and copy on Gunna's post. And every time I've had a couple drinks and I'm on Instagram, I want to jump in there with him and tag both. Just yeah, I'm here too. I like this song, goddamn. It's probably how I do at golf.
Wait a second. So how did you pick? Go ahead. How did you pick the other 2?
All right, so Junior Colson, he's actually a friend of a friend's brother. The family that adopted him, the brother is really good friends with a guy I grew up with in high school. So I was like, oh, that'd be easy just to clown around with that and just use that connection. Then Omarion Hampton, just UNC. And I'd bond on him with UNC, dab him up and talk. I'd probably just be really nerded out. I'd be like, what was it like when Mac Brown quit on the team and then he texted you guys later that night saying, hey, never mind, I'm not quitting on the team? What was that like? I would love to hear that story. That would be my number one thing I'd bring up to him at least 1,000 times. I wanted to put Herbert in there. I'd probably put Herbert and Mac was the ones that are on the fridge. Mac, I'd be I don't know. I'd just ask him stories all the time. And then Herbert, I just don't think he would talk to me. I think me and Herbert, I think he would just be like, this guy's way too much energy, really annoying. He keeps cussing up a storm every time he goes near the ball. I think Herbert would be I just want to stay away from you for a little bit.
I'm seeing people starting to add their 3, and that's what I want. I want the people in the chat, go ahead and add your 3 that you'd go spend an afternoon with. I mean, so if you aren't a golfer, it's a 5-hour time. I mean, basically, you're out there for 18 holes. It's 5 hours. Way too long. Golf should be 12 holes. 18 is just ridiculous. At 9, you're like, hey, all right, I can keep going. But by 12, you're like, I just want to get the hell out of here. I'm sick of everybody I'm with. Yeah, I'm sick of everybody I'm with. This is kind of ridiculous. I'm wasting my time. I've spent a ton of money and not having a good time. Golf is just not my thing. Okay.
There's nothing more than I hate than when you're on the turn.
Yeah.
And someone goes, oh, you still got we're halfway there. And I'm like, I'm having a great time. Let's just end it here.
Yeah.
We've done a good job. We've played a lot of holes. We've caught up.
Yeah.
You know, we're really just doing this to drink. Let's just cut the crap right here. So let's just go to a bar and have a couple pops and have a good time. You know? Like, Jesus Christ.
I've hosted
this damn club.
I've been part of a few radio shows. We've hosted golf tournaments. You know, we have something on every hole, whether you're getting massages or you're getting drinks or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
And god dang, the last one I did, the guy behind me, I told the girl on one of the holes who was serving beers, I said, "Hey, that guy right here pulling up with the glasses, he recently had a sex change in the last year, and he's really insecure about it." I said, "Please don't make eye contact with him, otherwise it's going to ruin his day." He's a big he's a big donor. And she was good looking. Okay. So she gives him the beers head down, just has her head down and gives him 2 beers. And he catches up with him on the next hole. He goes, what's up with that bitch? I go, what are you talking about? She didn't make eye contact. Like she just like gave me 2 beers with her head looking at the ground. She was like, why'd she even out here? He goes, doesn't she know that part of the deal of her being out here is being good looking? And I said, dude, I told her that you just had a sex change in the last year and you're insecure. Don't make eye contact with you. And he was so mad, but it was so damn funny. You know,
that's good. Yeah.
He wasn't good with it. But anyway, everyone else thought it was hilarious, but he didn't care for it. All right, here are my 3 guys. All right. And by the way, I wouldn't pick Junior Colson for the number one reason is I've talked about him on this show a million times. Not that I'm backing away from what I've said, but I know with a couple pops, I'm going to start calling him out. Going, what are you doing, man? I go, you know,
are we in the gym? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, dude, what the hell? I mean, how about a little more calories? And this is an Iowa State. Like, what the hell, dude? You know, you got to get your ass together. You're getting hurt every week. Lad McConkey's sitting there toughing it out, and you aren't ready to go. You know, you look lost out there. I would say something that would probably start a fight. You know what I mean? Like, I'd probably just step in it completely. That being said, the 3 guys I picked, Derwin James is my number 1. Okay. Derwin, I'm sure, has a lot of stories. I got a million things to say to Derwin. Khalil Mack, again, closer to my age. So I got a million Khalil Mack, Raider, Bears, Charger stories that I want to hear. I need answers from Khalil Mack on a ton of things that have happened. And the last one is Justin Herbert. And I know that I don't even need a couple pops. I'm going to call out Justin and go, where are you, dude? You have a giant voice in this organization. You never use it. At least we don't know if you use it. And I need to know right now, do you ever speak up on your behalf and what's best for this organization? Because whatever this is hasn't been working since you've been here. You have not won a playoff game. So why aren't you using your voice like every other quarterback in this league? And those are why I'd pick those 3 guys right there.
I love how like golfing is this supposed to be like relaxation, and then your whole thing is like, yeah, why aren't you winning?
Oh yeah, 100%. No, I'll be a dick. 100%.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
That's that's it right there. I would sit there and start calling guys out. Like, I want to know, but you know, now look, you lived in Chicago. You have family that's Bears fans. You wouldn't have a bunch of even Khalil Mack's questions just about the Bears?
I would have a lot. I would have a lot about the Bears. That, especially the 18 season, I would have so many questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. That Mac was, I probably should sub him in and take out Hampton. I'd probably, if I had to make that sub. Because I get the things Mac has been through. The Gruden times. Like, I'd love to talk to him about Gruden. You know, what happened with, what's the dumbass's face?
Which one?
The Matt Nagy, like, when did that fall apart? To compare Nagy and Staley. That's actually probably, Dave, the number one thing I'd love to hear about him is him to compare Staley and Maggie and be Nagy, not Maggie. Shout out to her though. Compare like the two. Be like, tell me the similarities, the differences, where they each kind of like fell apart in their coaching.
You know what's funny? You can make an argument that Jim Harbaugh is the only good head coach he's ever had. Like every other coach that Khalil Mack has had his entire career has been very questionable.
Who was hit before Gruden? I'm trying to remember. I can't.
Well, he never got Gruden, traded him away right away.
Yeah. He traded him.
So yeah, he never had anyone that you go, hey, that's that guy right there is a perfect guy to lead a young man in his career. I mean, Gruden gave him a change, got him, and he got 2 first-round picks for him right away. What are you looking at?
Jack Del Rio. That was his. Oh my God, has he really gone through it?
Yeah, and Del Rio was a linebacker. Yeah.
Yeah.
But none of these guys that you go, man, he got a Belichick type, a Parcells type. He never got those guys, you know. But now he has Jim Harbaugh, yeah, and Jim Harbaugh loves him, which shows you Jim Harbaugh knows football and still says we got to keep this guy around. You know, I want him. He's good for the locker room, good for the team, and I know as Charger fans, we love having Khalil Mack on the roster. Again, there's going to be a lot of expected of him, which is weird to say for a guy that's a veteran this long to say you're demanding a lot from him. And you kind of need it. I mean, you just don't know where's that pressure going to come from, and it's just someone that's going to be able to step up for them.
I think he wants that too. Like he seems like the type of player that we've seen where he wants, like he would kind of, obviously he would like it if they got him some more help, but he likes the challenge of, no, I'm this old and I'm still going to perform at this high level and show you how good I really am.
So here we go right here in the side. I'm looking at people's threes. Stan Fan has in here. These are probably, if you want to have a really good time, I think he picked the best 3 guys to have a good time with, where he picks Dicker, Bozeman, Alt. We always tell you the offensive linemen are the most fun guys to hang out with. And we're going, Dicker's going to be funny. He's going to be a good time. Now, are you going to be able to tell your friends I played golf with these 3 and I got major answers? You have no answers of anything. Those 3 guys are going to give you any juice. They're just going to be fun dudes to hang out with. But they aren't going to give you anything where you can go back and tell your friends, you won't believe what I heard. You aren't going to get any information from those guys.
Those are also 3 guys where if you go, I played with 3 NFL players today, and you go, who? And you go, Dicker, Bozeman, Alt,
Bozeman,
Bozeman, whatever. They'd be like, who the hell's that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is another good one. Oh, sorry. What were you going to say?
No, go ahead. Finish what you're saying.
Inspection had Herbert, Allen, and James. Derwin James. Even though Allen's currently not on the team, but I still respect it.
Well, Allen, by the way, it's funny you mentioned his name. I had it in the notes and I took it out. Was that Allen was one of those guys rumored to go to the Cowboys. Now that this deal for Pickens is done, you take them off the board. I mean, you kind of wonder if Keenan Allen's going to play in 2025, how much money is he going to make, right? It's not one of those where, hey, we can't afford him. He's going to be lucky to have a team at this point.
Did you see too that our boy Joe was on Up and K? Is that what it's called? K Adams show. I think it's called Up and K.
I did see it. I watched it.
Yeah. Of him saying that, they're not done adding to the receiver room. So that could be Keenan.
I hope that's the case. I'd like to see Keenan back. A couple things about Joe. I've never met Joe in person. I had no idea Joe was that short. Did you catch that part? I don't know why. I just thought Joe was at least 6 feet tall, but he isn't. He's not a big dude. That's it. You got to be a big, tall guy to be a GM. It's just funny. Like here's I remember Josh and I were covering a Sunday night Chargers Patriots game. I think I was working for ESPN. He was working for Sirius at the time. And Kraft and Bill Belichick walked by us. Dude, they were like 5'4".
Oh, yeah, they're short. Yeah.
They're crazy small. And you're like, wow. Like, you just didn't expect that they were that short.
That's like the photo that I think Chargers posted, I think a week ago now, of Hampton meeting Harbaugh and the angle of it. I mean, Hampton's a big dude, but like still the angle of it makes Hampton look like he's an Avenger.
Yeah.
And Harbaugh's like shaking his hand, saying, congratulations, you're leading the Thunderbolts.
That is that's interesting right there. All right, I want to go through one of the things that was mentioned, strength of schedule. So this official schedule is about to be announced of when the Chargers play. And, the dates, everything else that we're going to look at as far as how many games do they have, cold weather, what happens to the Chargers. Some people are saying, Chargers, Cowboys this year, that the Chargers, maybe they play on Thanksgiving Day, all this stuff that you talk about looking at the schedule. The Chargers have the 15th toughest schedule in the league, okay, which is almost right in the middle, right? 32 teams, almost right in the middle. Now, it's funny when we spend a lot of time in the offseason going, what do you do if you're certain teams in the draft? Because teams like the New York Giants have a situation where if they don't do anything this year, they're going to lose. The GM and the head coach are both going to be fired. And that's one of the reasons why they're saying you stay away from a quarterback. You go ahead and you draft a guy who can help you right now. The New York Giants have the toughest schedule in the entire NFL going off of last year. They're projected only to win 5.5 games is what it is. That's the line, the betting line is 5.5. the Chargers being in the middle at 15, we've had so many people over the last couple of weeks saying, hey, the Chargers are going to have a much tougher schedule. The fact that they have to play the Chiefs twice and they still only have number 15 says a lot. The Broncos, by the way, have the 14th toughest schedule, okay, on this list. And so it's interesting to see the way it is set up here. But overall, I don't hate that number, Mario.
I don't either. I think it's pretty fair. Tough for New York Giants fans, by the way, with just having every QB on the planet in your room, them in Cleveland, and you have the two hardest schedules in the NFL. It's like, thanks, guys. We really do appreciate it. But I think it's good because with making the playoffs last season, with the schedule that they had, you get worried about like the too high of a jump up next year, and you go, all right, now we're kind of come back to level and maybe get smoked by some better teams. And look, even last season, Dave, we talked about the only playoff team they beat was Denver Broncos. That was the only team. Yep. So obviously they're going to get more chances this year with their schedule. But I like that it's kind of a fair balance, as we know right now, of the teams that will be hard and teams that will be soft going into it. The other team that kind of stood out to me right away with their kind of schedule and how, rough it's going to be was the Washington Commanders. They're at 19 hardest right now. If you look at who has the youngest roster, they have the 7th oldest roster in football, which is you'd think that's kind of surprising, right? Because Jaden Daniels, younger team, but remember a lot of those guys that they signed, older vet guys, So this is just pointing to my theory that they're going to have a little bit lower of a year this year.
So you look at as far as here are the teams, the 5 easiest schedules are the 49ers. Didn't you say just the other day, expect a big bounce back from the Niners?
Oh, yeah.
Niners
I'm Niner hard.
Yeah. Niners, Patriots, Saints, Falcons, Bills have the 5 easiest schedules. All right. The 5 toughest schedules, Giants, Browns, Lions, Eagles, and Vikings. That is tough if you're a Minnesota Viking fan. I mean, JJ McCarthy, first year he's going to play, and he has the 5th toughest schedule listed on here. So not exactly easy for them. But again, as the Chargers has a projected 9.5 wins is the line. Again, they won 11 last year. Are you going to put any money on that?
So we're currently doing on the other show I run different divisions every week, and leans on over or under, and I've been thinking hard on what I would do with the Chargers. I think I would lean over because I think this is finally, and I've said this before, and I'll say it probably 1,000 times again, I think this is the year we split with the Chiefs, but at the same time, I think we split with the Broncos too.
I don't disagree right now. I mean, now, I don't disagree on this. Mike G off topic wrote something. I'll forget it, so I want to get to it right here. He says, remember when we called Tom Telesco Coupon Tom? Why are we giving Ortiz a pass for being cheap? Look, I'm not giving him a pass. Actually, matter of fact, I called out the Chargers. I thought this entire offseason, Mario, for saying that they weren't spending money. Like, what is the goal here when you have so much money? Going into the next offseason, the Chargers will have more money than anyone in the NFL. They didn't spend a lot of money. I was very frustrated as a fan because I was like, there are major holes here that it seems like aren't necessities to Jim Harbaugh and Joe Ortiz. Not calling them out. I will say this: when you win 11 games and you came from, picking number 5 overall the year before, that I think you sit there and you go, dude, whatever you're doing is working. You have a better idea of this than I do. And you kind of give it a pass. I'm not exactly saying you give Joe Ortiz a pass. You give him a pass until it doesn't work. But right now, what he's doing is working.
It is working. We like the draft so far. And let's be honest. I mean, when free agency hit, everyone can go listen back. We're all like, we're waiting for the Chargers update. Yeah. We're waiting for like our big splash that's as a signee, and it was just Najee Harris. And like, okay, thanks, man. I guess we'll go ahead and run home about that. But no, I think, Joe comes from the Ravens tree. And tell me the last time Ravens really made a big splash. You know, like they don't do that. That's not them. They build from within, whether they have a bad history or not.
No, I don't disagree. Speaking of Charger moves, I'll let you get to the last note we have about a tight end.
Oh yes. So the Athletic did like the best value pick of all 32 teams in the NFL, which I thought was just very interesting. So we can go ahead and throw that in there. The Chargers one I thought was fascinating. It was Orande, the Syracuse tight end. And if I'm saying that wrong, that's my bad. That's on me. But Dave, I was fascinated by this. This is also our guy Popper that he loves us. We're his number one favorite podcast. He added that they kind of got their blocking tight end in Will Dissly. They have a possession receiver in Coughlin. Basically, what he can be is the go-getter in the end zone, the guy that jumps up and gets the ball, and that he's more of another receiver in this offense, more another slot guy than hey, it's 3rd and 1, we're gonna throw him in there, he's gonna motion over for a block. But I thought it was fascinating of all like the best value picks that it was him, because I really thought it'd be one of the receivers that we drafted, to be honest with you, Dave.
Yeah, I'm glad that hey we're on the list. How's that? Inspection writes on here. He goes, I'm disappointed regarding the interior offensive line. Look, I was too. I think everybody is. I don't think there's a Charger fan out here that thought, we need help on the offensive line. It's been a glaring concern for 2 years now, and the Chargers haven't done a lot. The thing that was funny to me is how much Jim and Joe say how much they love their offensive line, where all of us are like, we don't. Pretty sure Justin Herbert doesn't, but yet they're satisfied with what they have. It's one of the biggest head scratchers going. It might be my only complaint actually about what the Chargers do, is that it seems like they neglect, what seems like a major problem is the interior offensive line. We talk about it almost every single post-game show. That's where we seem to get hurt all the time. Yet it wasn't a major concern through free agency. I understand we signed a player, but hell, I would have been happy shipping out 3 guys and bringing in 3 guys.
Especially when you look at the other aggressive moves that were made, like the Bears were kind of in this market too for interior line, and they got really aggressive with it, right? I'm not saying the Chargers could have gotten a trade done with the Kansas City Chiefs, but maybe the Rams, right? You give the Rams a call and get their center that was an all-pro. That's the part where I get frustrated. That's the part where I'm like, all right, are we really doing enough? And you did fix your running back room. It's vastly improved. And, we actually have a super chat here that's kind of alluding to what I'm about to say, but can Hampton and Ken Harris make up for maybe the flaws in our O-line? Because I say no. I feel like it's usually the other way, right? Where the O-line makes up for the flaws of the running back. So that's where I get worried. It's like, are we doing Hampton and Harris a disservice? Because those are 2 very solid running backs, and we're giving them an okay group to work with up front in between the tackles.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that completely. And the running backs at the same thing would say that. As much as running backs have that crazy ego, they will tell you that offensive line is everything. There's a reason why you see guys when they have a fantastic year, they go out and they do the whole Rolex trip, right? Hey, these guys made me look like a stud. I'm making big time money because of these guys, and all of a sudden everybody's getting a brand new Rolex. And, I mean, you've seen it for years. It's gone on forever. And I do like the running back room better this year already than last year. And last year we were kind of excited because you had one guy who had a history of scoring touchdowns, and then you had another guy that we knew was talented but couldn't stay healthy. As much as JK was fantastic for this team, I like what they have now a lot more than what they had a year ago.
I did too. I think it's gonna be vast. I would say, at top of my head, it's probably a top 5 running back room.
Yeah,
currently. Which, Harbaugh, when he got the job, said, imagine Justin Herbert with the run game. And that's certainly what we should get coming up this season. And, we shall see. And if you're going to buy a Charger jersey right now, you buy a Marion Hampton, and God damn it, do you buy that in blue? Sorry, Pope Lux. What's his name?
Top 3 GDs already.
I know. What is it? Pope Lux?
Dude, I don't even know. Dude, I hate to say I don't know. All I know is I got a text on my phone saying we have a new pope. There's white smoke coming out. I didn't even look it up. I can't even tell you.
I thought so.
I didn't watch the breaking news on TV. I just walked away.
I mean,
Sorry, it
be
wasn't a
honest,
big concern of mine.
same. And
Yeah.
I got a text saying white smoke, and I thought they were like sending a rap song, or
Yeah.
there was like a new rapper that was trying to be Eminem, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, and then I was like, oh, that means Pope. But yeah,
I'll
praise be.
I'll look it up right now. Okay.
I swear it starts with an L.
Hold on, what the hell's his name?
I think.
I know it's Pope Leo.
Oh, Pope Leo.
Yeah.
He is from Chicago.
Yeah. Is that right?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's right. I know it starts with an L.
Okay. Yeah,
New
how about that?
Pope name.
Yeah, sorry. I don't
Cardinal
know.
Robert. Wait, how is he Leo? Cardinal Robert Prevost choosing the name Leo. God, I'm going to tell you what. I thought I knew a lot about this situation. Boy, do I not. I have no idea what any of that stuff meant.
Yeah, Robert Francis Prevost.
There you go. Pope Leo from Chicago says.
Born in Chicago. Yeah, how about that? Pope talk. Who would have thought through all these years of doing Charger talk, we'd jump into Pope talk? Yeah.
Not me, not God. But,
I
I
apologize for not knowing my Pope information. That was embarrassing. I apologize.
And you're Catholic, dude. This is your
I'm not Catholic.
Never mind.
Catholic at all.
Never mind.
My wife Christian. My wife is Catholic.
I'm Christian. I don't have to know this crap.
That's funny. My wife guarantees she wouldn't know either. Anyway, what can I tell you? All right, you want to get to the super chats?
Yeah, let's get to it. First one's from our boy AK. I'm going to start with this. Cam Hart and Tyreek Still will be the best corner duo in the NFL. No fly zone. Shout out Ray Shermer. Bolts #1 pass defense. Uncle Dave, let's go.
Dude, I'm with you, AK. I love those guys. I'm a huge fan of both these guys. Steele's a perfect example of someone that we didn't talk about at all, right? This time last year.
Also, it's still. I'm sorry.
Yeah, still. I don't know why. I was looking at his writing and just started talking. Sorry, I'm watching a 9-1 Tigers or Rockies game for some reason right now, right behind my computer. So I'm part. Tyreek Still has been one of those guys. I can't believe I just read it the way he wrote it. Damn it, AK, you set me up. So at the same time, he's a playmaker. I mean, there are guys that, hey, you know what? The ball hawks, and he's a ball hawk. He's awesome.
Amazing. One of my Cameron was one of my favorite players to watch this past season, and Still he'd get like pick after pick, and you're like, oh my god, man, like this guy just put on the O team's jersey. What's going on? Matthew Dahl says, "Go Knights, go!" A little hockey action. You're in the hockey playoffs.
Not anymore. Not that now that the Kings are gone, I'm out.
Son of a bitch.
And I'm rooting for Connor McDavid though in the Oilers. That's where I'm at. I know it sounds weird to say the team that knocked my team out, but I'm rooting for Connor McDavid and the Oilers.
So you want the cup to come home?
To come home to Edmonton? Yes, I do. I do want to see it come home. I do. I'm a huge Connor McDavid fan. He just looks different than everyone else.
Yeah. I think it's funny that the Maple Leafs, correct me if I'm wrong,
haven't won since 1967.
Yeah, and like their best player is American, and then you face in the Florida Panthers, and isn't the Panthers' best player Canadian? And it's like the Canadians stopping the Canadian team.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I found that out on air, and that it blew my mind for a little bit.
I don't know. I laughed when the president said Ovechkin was Canadian yesterday.
He said Ovi's Canadian?
Yeah.
Can't win them all. You really can't.
Can't win them all.
All right. Shout out to Mighty. He has almost identical careers so far. No matter the excuses of team/coaches, who's the better QB, Joe Burrow or Herbert? Not who you prefer, who's better.
They have not had identical careers because most people will tell you Joe Burrow is better than Herbert. They'll say he's more accurate. They say his downfalls that he's hurt. Joe Burrow's been to a Super Bowl. He's won playoff games. Joe Burrow has knocked out Patrick Mahomes in the postseason. They haven't had identical careers. Sorry.
Yeah, they haven't. Burrow also like got hurt his rookie year, then he bursted on the scene and went to the Super Bowl, and they kind of been in a weird spot since then. And also just really different of personalities, I guess would be the word to say. Like, Burrow was more in the news, and people like have a real I guess crush on him. Where like Herbert's just like I could care last week.
Couldn't care less.
Think of me. Yeah.
Yeah. Burrow wears those crazy outfits, man, into the stadium too. Kind of wild.
Yeah, I don't know. I just never understand that.
No.
But that just could be the Midwest in me.
Well, he's Midwest too. He's Midwest too.
He is. Not my Midwest.
Yeah.
You know, stayed over.
I still like the Brock Bowers move, man. He just wears team issued stuff in and out. Just give me the hoodie. You know, it always pissed me off when Cam Newton said he spent a minimum of $50,000 on every outfit for that 10-second walk. And I go, dude, $50,000 that you're never going to wear again. But he had to do it. And I keep thinking, man, if you would have said, hey, guess what? I decided to get out of this and I'm going to wear the team issued hoodie, Carolina Panthers hat. I'm going to walk in and that $50,000 that I used to spend, I'm now giving it to the Boys and Girls Club of Charlotte, whatever. He'd win over a lot more fans than doing the stupid move with the dumb hat and the big feather. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I always think too, maybe this is a weird thing, but how do you fit all that in your locker?
Yeah.
Like that's such a pain to take off as I'm preparing for a game. I want something easy.
Dude, anyone who's ever been in an NFL locker room, and I'm not like dropping, you know, how this works in my experiences. Dude, NFL locker rooms suck. They're so hot. First of all, it's so damn hot and humid in there. You got showers going nonstop. You have guys that just walked off the field. They're sweating like crazy. There's tape all over the floor. Like it's hard to walk out with that just pulling tape off your shoes. And now you're going to sit there and put on a $2,000, $3,000 suit or whatever the hell they're paying. You know, it's like the last thing you want to do when you're all sweaty, even out of the shower, is put on something crazy expensive. And you know, the second they walk down the hallway, they get home, all that stuff comes off and they never wear it again anyway. It's the biggest waste of money to me.
Yeah, at that point you get home like I just want to relax. I just spent 4 hours getting.
And would you rather be on, let's say you did a 5-hour trip, would you rather be on an airplane going back to where you came from in team issued sweats and sweatshirt, or do you rather have an expensive suit on, sit on the airplane with all that crap on? You'd rather be the most comfortable you could be.
True.
I
always think I would love to like be invited to the Met Gala and just wear. I don't know what just happened.
You went dark.
I went dark. But just wear like a basketball jersey. I think about that all the time. Like that'd be funny. That'd be a good joke.
Angie says on here, by the way, I guarantee you Herbert and Burrow don't care either. I couldn't agree more. Yeah, Angie, by the way, I think 99.9% of what Angie writes, I think I agree with everything she says. Next time Josh is out, we just put Angie in one of these squares.
We should. Yeah. All right. Mike G. Nobody says it, but Hampton reminds me of Ricky Williams. Thoughts, Dave? Don't think Mario saw him play. No, but let's hope he doesn't hit the reefer as hard.
It's funny. I'm not a smoker, but I'm a Ricky Williams fan. He's a San Diego guy like me. He went to high school not far from here. And I'm a Ricky Williams guy. Mike, I think that's a great comparison. I think that's a really good poll right there. I think I would take Ricky Williams type football player in a Charger uniform for sure. That's a very good comparison.
He's known to be like an incredible, from every media member I've met that has had an interaction with him, they've spoke nothing but amazing things on him.
Yep.
Nestor Reyes. Butcher that, definitely. But are you going to smoke Victory cigars next season, Dave?
Yeah, absolutely. Can't wait. Got an entire box right here that it's unopened, completely sealed, airtight. I'm looking at right now. It's got my cigars ready to go.
Last one we got. This is what I was referring to earlier. Do you think the O-line will make big improvements in year 2? The same system will keep him Bosman and Zion better with twists and blitzes. Fam.
That is the greatest question going, right? Don't you feel like this team goes as far as the offensive line? Right? If you give the running backs a chance, you give Herbert a chance. I don't care how bad you might think your wide receivers might be. You give Herbert time, and all of a sudden it changes everything. That's the biggest question on this entire team is that interior offensive line and keeping, Alt and Slater healthy.
I mean, we saw it past 3, 4 years, 5 years. Herbert can throw anyone open.
Yep.
We saw Lad.
QJ doesn't mean they can always catch it, but he can. He can throw anybody open. Yeah.
Wasn't it against the Chiefs where it was one of the most insane? He just threw Lad open, and Lad twisted his body, made the catch. So if you give him time, good things will happen. It will happen. Shout out. This is probably the best comment we've ever gotten in the history of Bull Crew podcast. Elena Moore, baby Charger coming in August 25th, baby. Congratulations. My 10-year-old boy is lost to the Cowboys, LOL, but I am claiming this girl early, LOL. Fantastic news, Elena. Fantastic. You can take the name Mario if you want.
Is it Elena or Alana? I always thought it was Alana.
It's probably Alana. So that's my bad, but I'm still extremely happy for you and yours. That is awesome. Congratulations.
That is cool. And it's so there you go. She said it's a girl. Is that what she said?
Yeah, she says, I'm claiming this girl early. LOL.
Is there any chance this kid's name is going to be Justine? What's the name of this kid?
Ooh, true. Mario E.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Congrats. Yes, that's very, I'm so excited for you. That's freaking awesome. So amazing. And it's going to look really cute in Charger blue or Carolina blue, whichever you prefer.
You got it. That'd be your first question to Hampton. Do you call it Carolina blue or do you call it Charger blue?
That would be.
Yeah.
And it'd be like, how many pairs of Jordans do you have?
That's funny. All right. Is that the last of the bunch?
That is the last of the bunch.
All right. I'm gonna give you a quick rant. All right. Not a big one right here, but a quick rant. Dude, I don't know about you, Mario, but in life, everybody I think knows this person. And it's the person that really you can't stand more than anyone else on the planet. Okay. And it could be someone casual in your life or someone close to you in your life. It's the person who always falls up.
Yes.
Now, I've never been one of those guys to fall up ever. Like, I'd love to be a guy that falls up. I've never fallen up. And what I mean by that is you can go from getting fired at a job and next thing you know, your next job is a promotion where all your friends and the people who know you are like, what the F? That guy 100% is not qualified for that job. How did that happen? Okay. Or it could be the guy that was with a girl that we all thought was too good for him, but the next girl's even better than that girl. And you go, what the F, right? That guy falls up. And there's certain people in life that continue to fall up all the time. Sometimes they're not even looking to fall up. They just fall up. And it's frustrating as hell. And when one of your buddies calls you and you hear about, Jim, and you're like, what happened to Jim? Dude, he didn't even know he had a distant relative, but they left him $10 million. Or, you know what I mean? That kind of deal. They inherit money. They get the better looking girl. They get the promotion at work. F you to anyone that falls up, because I've never been that guy. And the jealousy is through the roof. It happened to a guy I know this week who completely fell up, completely not qualified. And I just was like, what the hell's going on? What in the world is going on? Good God.
I wish I had that gene of where I just somehow drop me on my head and land on my feet. Yeah.
Yeah. Guys who fall up drive me crazy.
There was a kid that I grew up playing lacrosse with. I'm going to have to really spare these details, but had seen him a little bit, was visiting my best friend at his college, and I saw him there. And like literally this guy's did like the back-to-back fail up. And I met I think their fiance now, and he's a guy. And like she was like not kidding, Dave, drop dead gorgeous. And I'll never forget. He goes, "This is my girlfriend." I'm gonna say her name was Sarah. And I was like, "You're with him? Really?" Like I did that. Like I was just like, wow. Like I asked it like 4 times. It's like, really? You picked him out. Wow. And I just looked at the guy. I'm like, wow. I was like, you had it, but wow. And she was like, yeah, he's great. I'm like, no, I love him. He's a great guy, but wow.
Dude, Josh has a friend of his that falls up all the time, by the way. You met him, actually. You met him at the wedding last year.
Can I guess who it was?
Well, don't say his name, but you can say the circumstance.
The short guy. A lot of energy.
A lot of energy. Okay. Do you remember he was with a smoking hot girl? Remember they were in an accident while they're here. They got like a motorcycle accident.
Yes.
And he had like 2 scratches on him.
Yeah.
And it was all about him and her concern towards him. But she was beat to shit from this accident. She did not care at all. Oh shoot, I just got right into this thing. But she did not care that she was injured. But the whole time I'm looking at him going, dude, like having a little attention towards her, like you're lucky to have her. And she just adored him. And
Dude,
I'm like, and this guy has fallen up forever. I know the other girls he's been with. That guy falls up all the time.
I wanted to ask you so many times. I was like, so how did that
I was talking to
how did
both of
that
them,
come
and that's
together?
all I kept saying for 2 days. Like, is this guy drinking? I wasn't drinking at all. I just was in shock.
I wonder, as a guy too, that's gotta hurt a little bit. We're like, oh,
I don't think he knows. I think he just thinks this is the
I
way
don't
life
think
is.
I bet we can both say with a lot of confidence that guy was
Yeah.
a very nice guy, but he definitely thinks he's in that
Yeah.
ballpark.
Oh,
Yeah.
like he thinks in his mind she's lucky to be with me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy as hell.
God, I wish we could
It's
show a
like-
picture.
It's like
Because the audience would be like, absolutely.
you've seen the movie The Other Guys, right? With Mark Wahlberg and Walter.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's like, sorry, they can't all be first round picks, and she's smoking hot. It was like that. Right?
One of the most underrated lines in that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man.
All right, we'll get out of here. What a mess. Always turns into a cluster F at the end, but always a good time. Appreciate everyone from sitting there dealing with our nonsense, talking Charger football. Hope you guys have a great weekend. Are we coming back on Tuesday?
We're coming back on Tuesday,
Yeah,
and we'll let you know if Josh is there.
I know. No kidding. We don't know. We don't know his schedule at all. He sent me a video. He was taking a cooking class in Italy.
Very nice.
And I sent him a picture of Chef Boyardee ravioli. I go, ask him how they get all those raviolis in the can. He didn't even respond. Just completely disgusted.
Did he ask? Yeah, he's like, do you think you can beat out Chef Boyardee though?
He's definitely not Chef
Rose.
Boyardee guy. He's definitely not that guy. All right, we're back on Tuesday, 1:00. Appreciate everyone watching. Please subscribe and like. I didn't ask you to do that, but you guys know the drill. It's awesome. The music's back. If you didn't catch it, you got to catch it on YouTube right there to see that we have the new opening back. Also, you can leave your comments on YouTube. I'll respond to those. And appreciate everybody talking Charger football with us on the Bolt Crew podcast. Tell your friends. We'll see you Tuesday, 1:00.